cheated. Like, so they're like, oh, we're not gonna do yours. We're gonna.
It's used nationwide. The iHeartRadio app.
What up, y'all?
This is a tough one on the 5 northbound before Burbank Boulevard. That has
Why you buttoning up?
the right
You're supposed to be
lane
loosening
open.
up.
That's according to
You're about to let loose.
I'm about to act a fool tonight.
And so why are you buttoning up? Like you're about to be conservative.
I'm not conservative.
At all.
At all. Not at all. We about to act a complete fool, though, I tell you that.
Yeah. I know. That's what you mean. I had talked about that.
What up, y'all?
Pick It Up is an initiative to activate student
All right, love.
learning projects.
Good night, Zoe Williams fans is crazy.
Great learning experiences in the classrooms today.
Okay, listen. What do I call them?
They're not fans, they're family.
Good night, Zoe Williams family.
There we go.
There to support Zoe on me. Which you're a fan of his work.
Ooh, here she
I'm
comes.
not. I'm just saying they appreciate what you give to them every night. That's why they're there.
That's
And
true.
being a fan of your work doesn't mean a fan, like, you know, a fan. It just means they're supportive.
You are 100% correct. I stand corrected, Jill. Correct me in front of my peoples.
Beating them up.
No question.
Hey, so I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly.
Everybody,
what's
please
going on, because it takes
hit that like button.
and I need to hit his side.
Like it up. Please like it up. Like it up. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button.
And what if all these things are the byproduct of you staying in the illusion of the small self, which is an illusion? Play with the idea. Even if you've lived it your whole life, it doesn't mean it's not an illusion. You're staying within the small boundaries of what you needed to do to not feel that trauma again. But what if you're finally going to become what you actually are? Like, play with that. And what if we really explore oneness together and find that your triggers about someone else, your desire for things to be different, your fixing, is all a symptom of the real problem, which is you think you are the separate self. And the more we do this work, the more we get evidence of it. And the reason meditation can start out really painful is because it has to slowly show you that what you thought you were was a lie. meditation has to show you right off the bat. It has to actually start. It doesn't even need to show you. It just starts pushing it out. So you feel this pain. It feels like death because meditation is getting rid of you. It's getting rid of what you thought you were. It's getting rid of what you thought you were. And that's way harder than, but actually I'm going to say that again. It's very easy, but it's more painful than someone who's just transcending an alcohol addiction or a heroin addiction, because even though those are major chemical dependencies, that's not the identity nearly as much as literally everything you've ever known. Like, you might think on one level I was an alcoholic and now I'm stopping it, but on another level to go, I was Kyle Cease, the separate self who was a stand-up comedian and then a transformational speaker. I have this type of relationship. I have these eating habits. I have this thing. I have this thing. I have this thing. And you're this person and you're this ethnicity and you're this story and you're this financial thing, right? That is not true. It's more and more as I meditate, it holds space for all that is. And it holds space for what every human being is feeling. And it holds space for the pain that's being suffered by people in other countries. It's holding space for the pain that people, that are underdogs in the world are going through. But it also holds space for the pain in people that are not considered underdogs. I feel the same empathy for a very successful person or people that have a lot of power. I feel a lot of empathy for everybody because suffering is suffering. And it exists. But it exists through our lens of our smallness. It exists through our separation. That's why it's there. And we have become this bizarre clusterfuck of people who grabbed each other. And you can't grab each other. You can a little bit, but you might notice it's breaking up. Remember the old days? Like, it used to be one side and another side. But now there's subsides and smaller groups breaking into smaller groups, grabbing each other in smaller and smaller patches, right? Even your friend.
Man, that was Kyle Cease. Number one, I didn't know Kyle Cease was a comedian at one point. Because nothing he said was funny. Not a bit of it was comical. But he sets up today's topic perfectly. He sets it up flawlessly. Listen. So I have several inspirations for tonight's topic. Number one, Dr. Jashana Johnson. We follow each other on Instagram, and she posted, something on EMDR. I think that's the correct, yes, EMDR. She posted something about that and how that practice takes you back to childhood, these wounds, right? These moments of injustice, psycho-spiritual injustice that happened in childhood. You hear me talk about this and reference this a lot on the show. And she talks about how that form of therapy will take you back. You'll get to experience it and then reframe it. I thought it was amazing. And I was like, wow, we gotta, we got to talk about this. And then as I was putting the topic together, one of my friends, a music producer, music manager, we're sitting, we're talking. And then he starts to talk about how people are, and I think we did a topic on this before too, weaponizing the words of therapy. Right? Therapeutic terms. They're weaponizing it. And we were having this discussion about how there's a distinct difference in getting all the words down and actually embodying, the help a therapist can provide. And it's not much different, that idea, that concept is not much different than a lot of religious folk who know the Bible backwards and forward, but do not embody Christ. the consciousness of Christ, the Spirit of Christ, the Spirit of the Holy Ghost even. Like, they don't embody it. They know how to speak it, though. And I remember we did a topic on therapy speak, and, they know all the nuances. They've read Levine's book, Attached. They've read all of these books so that they can create intellectualizations or intellectual justifications for staying the same. And Kyle Cease articulated it perfectly. Listen, meditation, if you're really doing it right, is bringing it all up. You say, what is it, Zoe? All of it. You have to understand the defense mechanisms that we created in childhood, that survival mode, that got us from moment to moment. And then at some point, we integrated those defense mechanisms into our identity, our sense of self. And then they started to co-write our expectations for relationships. So Zoe Williams, tonight, we're going to go deep. Deep. Tonight's topic, pocket universes. The fragmented self in the age of infinite communication and connection. Boy, when I tell you I got something lined up for y'all. Because I want to introduce an entirely different concept. But before I get to the concept, let me tell you about tonight's topic. Right? Quantum. I don't even want to give that away yet. If the universe itself is a hologram, as many suppose that it is, then every wound is not a flaw in reality, but a ripple in its light. Quantum individuation proposes that what we call healing is not the mending of broken pieces, but the realignment of distorted frequencies within the grand holographic field of being. Each self, each partner, each relationship is a fractal lens refracting the same infinite image, the whole, the divine whole, seeking to remember itself through the mirror of difference. Now, in Michael M. Talbot's work, his book called The Holographic Universe, it reveals that every fragment carries the blueprint of the entire cosmos. In my own book, The Holographic Relationship, it extends this idea to intimacy. Every conflict between you and I is the cosmos arguing with its own reflection. Trauma, in this view, is informational noise, interference in the wave pattern of consciousness. Yes, it creates perceptual distortions that trick awareness into believing the mirror is broken. Here, EMDR, eye movement desensitization, and reprocessing becomes the neurological technology of remembrance. By rhythmically stimulating bilateral hemispheres, EMDR mimics the oscillatory symmetry of the holographic field. Right? Each saccadic movement synchronizes neural circuits, rebinding fragments of memory into a coherent image. Clinically, this restores integration within the nervous system. Metaphysically, it reenacts the universe's own drive towards coherence. The therapist's attuned presence becomes the stabilizing wave that rephases dissonant frequencies back into resonance. This is what EMDR does. Takes you back to the past safely, without rewounding, right? You can't jump into a relationship and it happens. So me and my homeboy, we're in the lounge arguing about the work. The work isn't easy, right? The work is not for the faint of heart. And it led me to this radical idea of quantum individuation. Carl Jung thought of individuation on an individual level. You have to become a whole you. And I always say, if you're not engaged in the work, it's going to spill out in the relationship. What work? Self-work, self-observation without judgment, self-love, self-empathy, right? Self-understanding, self-awareness. If you're not engaged in the work, and I'm naming names, right? I'm saying things, but it's beyond the words. I don't want you to just memorize the words. I want you to understand that this is the work. To be able to deal with the unwanted parts of yourself, who the wound told you you were, that's the work. And it's not about memorizing, what somebody said in a book. It's actually about doing this work. Right? Quantum individuation takes it deeper. It's not just me and my shadow and my mask. We've all come together and I'm one whole person. Quantum individuation takes individuation to a wider, broader spectrum. Even Carl Jung talked about the social shadow, the shadow of the country, the shadow of society. Even he talked about it. I'm taking it further. Do you understand? Quantum individuation, therefore, transcends pathology. It invites us to see every tear, every rupture, every panic as light bent by history, not evidence of failure, but proof that the hologram still contains the whole. This reminds me of Isaiah 45:7. In that particular scripture, God is basically saying, I'm all of it. Light, dark, good, evil, bad, calamity, all of it. He claims it as his own. He's wholeness. It is wholeness. Do you see? Right? The hologram. Every fractal in the hologram contains the whole. So my idea of quantum individuation, when you become whole, the entire universe you experience, the entire reality you experience becomes the whole for you. When perception clears, the self, the beloved, and the relationship stand revealed as one radiant continuity of awareness. At that instant, there's no longer you or I. There's only consciousness, remembering its own perfect symmetry. The EMDR of the soul, blinking itself back into wholeness. So when I tell you this is what relationship is for, y'all say, nah, it's for Netflix and chill and who made the potato salad. When I come forward, the voice of reason will give you the definitive definition of quantum individuation. What up? I appreciate everybody for being in here. Can I get everybody to hit that like button? Can everybody do me a solid? It's 32 people. Can we get everybody to hit that like button? And as soon as I ask people to hit the like button, people leave. That is crazy. Brooklyn in the house, without a doubt. I'm the rapper with clout. Everybody yep about. I love it. Y'all like my little apple cap? What up, everybody? Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you comprehend what we laying down right now? Huh? Do you guys comprehend what I'm laying down? Yeah, I saw that, human, at human. Radio life is cool. Karma Kaleidoscope is crazy. Now, the phone lines are open. If you guys want to participate, call in 1-800-920-1580. I don't have a guest. You already know how this works. Get involved. Tell them, Shaka.
What do you mean by that? It's not two, only one. You should experience it. If you say one, it might be two. So Brahma is only one, not two, only one.
రెండుగా ఉన్నదంటే ఇంకా ఉండొచ్చు అని చెప్పవచ్చు. కానీ ఏకం ఏవ అద్వితీయం, ఒకటే ఒకటి, రెండు కానటువంటిది.
When you say dual, it may be even multiplicity. It is
దైవము రెండు కానటువంటి ఒక్కటే.
God is only one and not two.
ఇదంతటి ప్రాకృతమైనటువంటి భావము చేత,
Because of worldly feeling,
ప్రవృత్తిమైన తత్వము చేత,
because of outer ways,
ఇన్ని రూపములు ఇన్ని నామములు భావిస్తున్నారు.
we go by the names and forms.
కానీ నిజంగా యోచిస్తే
Truly speaking,
ఒక్కటే దైవము, ఒకటే రూపము, ఒకటే నామము.
God is one with one name and one form.
I hear you, Sai Baba. He's talking about the oneness of God, the oneness of reality. So even at the spiritual levels, at the religious levels, right? Even in the Christian Bible, it says it's only one. Oh yeah, it's only one, right? Only one. The Muslims follow suit. It's only one. So, how is it that we can be fragmented? We don't recognize the one in ourselves, right? Individuation says you become a whole, complete person, but many of us claim to be in love, but really we are in pieces, searching for peace that's really just quiet. Oh, this person got to come in and make things, he got to make sure I'm safe. I have to feel a sense of safety. That's because you're disorganized internally. You're fragmented. Yeah? We talk about this work, right? Let's get this work. Nobody wants to put in the work. They want to show up as they are, be accepted in fragments, and be loved to the hilt. Fragments create conditions. Oh man, we're going to really get into it. I have so much lined up for you for tonight's topic. We're talking about the work. When I come forward, more music, more insights, and callers are on the way. So God is stunting like bird, man. Y'all stupid. Everybody hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. As many likes as we can get, we get into the algorithm. My face is getting itchy, that's all. Yo, y'all calling in? I want to talk to you guys. The number to dial is 1-800-920-1580. 1-800-920-1580. Please call in. Let's discuss. Please call in. Let's discuss. Can you guys call in? 1-800-920. Yeah, hey, seriously, on the Cash App, I know money been tight for everybody, but boy, the last couple of months have been horrific in terms of people supporting. And I know why. Like, I think we're in a recession because everybody is feeling it. You know, if you got twos and fews that you can put on that Cash App, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, it's Mad Max out here. No, I totally get it. Let's see. We're going to stay the course, though. I hear you, brother. Dope intro and topic tonight. Big Brother Zoe. Come on, Suge Mac 510. It ain't nothing but love all the time, brother. You gone, Doc? All right, brother, be safe. Yes, sir. Come on, man.
A lot of fish grease everywhere, but fish grease is this morning.
Fish grease, man. Listen, that's the best kind of. Listen, fish fry without fish grease. I don't know how it works.
Right.
Yeah, man, we putting it in.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
That's right. It's good to see you.
All right, brother, be safe. We there. Great work on the likes. I don't know for sure. For sure.
Just give me a date and I got you.
Salute, master teacher. Respect, fam. Respect. We coming back. Hey, Andy, we are here to save the world. Man, I love Andy, man. He be getting his food on.
What? Where's the incense? Where's the candles?
So is there a typical arc to the work that you're doing with somebody, Peter, whether you or a somatic experience trained person? When somebody comes in and is having similar experiences, they know that something has happened, or they have a sense of a long number of some things that have happened. They know that it's attached to some kind of an experience that they're having right now, that they're having a hard time working with or getting some distance from, and they want to feel better. Is there a kind of pathway that's typical for the work, or is it just completely individual?
Both. There are, arcs, but
Probably,
it is individual, and that's important actually, because every person is different. You sort of alluded to this. When I work with people, even though this may have to do with past events or even generational, ancestral effect, I work in the here and now. So we may reflect on some of these sensations and images, but it's in the present time. And so it's important before you excavate this kind of work, it's really essential that the person be able to have at least some modicum ability, capacity to be in the here and now, to be present. Otherwise, this can just result in regression. And, regression is generally not helpful. So working in the here and now, reflecting perhaps on, certainly on sensations and feelings and images, and looking at memories when they do come up, and work with them to complete some of those incomplete responses, and then welcome them back. When we're able to look at some of these events that may have occurred, both positive and negative, the idea is not to get the memory, but really is to be able to come sufficiently into the here and now, so you're not sucked into the vortex of trauma, to the black hole of trauma. You're able to have a distance. And mindfulness training can be useful also as an important part to develop those capacities, those skills, and they are skills. So
that clip is Forrest Hansen with Dr. Peter Levine. And of course, they're talking about the work, right? Listen, we got to stop pimping words like the work, God, love. Yeah, we're pimping the words out. We got them on the stroll. Because, yes, we can articulate them, but do we embody those words? Do you see? I'm telling you, the intimate relationship space is not a safe haven where you can hide from this process. It will manifest itself over time as conflict. You think conflict has no, I'm tired of the lessons. I'm tired of relationships they're hard because you've been running from yourself. And psychology is progressively getting more spiritual. Hell, where you think Carl Jung get these ideas from? Jung got them from the likes of Krishnamurti, whom he visited with, whom he sat with during his talks. But you might need the clinical side. Go to the SAP, thesap.org.uk, Society of Analytical Psychology. Jungian analytical psychology sees the self as many things, including psychic structure, developmental process, transcendental postulate, right? Affective experience and archetype. It has been depicted as the totality of body and mind, the God image, the experience of overpowering feelings, the union of opposites, and a dynamic force which pilots the individual on his or her journey through life. This latter idea is quintessentially Jungian. For even though other psychoanalysts have talked about the self in a similar way, Freudian psychoanalysts analysis still largely sees the self as a structure within the mind similar to an object representation and not as a theological agency. Individuation describes how this agency works. Jung saw it as a process of self-realization, the discovery and experience of meaning and purpose in life. The means by which one finds oneself becomes who one really is. You can't find yourself wholly in a relationship. The relationship just mirrors the fragmented parts of yourself back to you. So what do? We get clever. We start building boundaries based on defense mechanisms. Oh, I don't like this. You can't show up like that. You can't disturb my peace. Your peace is being disturbed because you haven't done the damn work. Carl Jung talked about the social or the societal shadow. Zoe Williams is taking it a step further with my quantum holographic individuation model. What is quantum individuation? Let's talk about it. Individuation is the art and science of becoming a coherent expression of the whole, healing the distortions of trauma so that the self, the relationship, and the cosmos, the reality, resonates as one continuous field of consciousness. See, we get into our little cubbyhole of self. It's just us against the world. We're healed. And we fight for that. I'm telling you, you're not finished healing. Healing is an ongoing process. But if we're taking it to a quantum level, we are reconstructing not only the psychic, but the realities in which we live. If the universe itself is a hologram, then every wound is not a flaw in reality, but a ripple in its light. Quantum individuation proposes that when we, or what we call healing, is not the mending of broken pieces, but the realignment of distorted frequencies within the grand holographic field of being. Every spiritual practice, religious practice on planet Earth talks about getting back to that level. Christ said it. For those who believe on me, I give you the power to do even greater things than I. Right? And relationship can be a conduit to this understanding. But we're using relationship as a damn playground. Right? A fun house. You're not healed like Raquel Hopkins said. You're not healed if you're constantly in peace maintenance. You're constantly trying to maintain your peace. That's not healed. That is functional surviving. That is running. I need somebody that won't disturb, disrupt, upset, right? These walls I've built around my wounds. That's not healing. We talking about doing the work tonight, right? And the phone lines are quiet. I know why. They say, well, we're going to listen to Zoe tonight. No, we're not calling in. No, not the kid. I'm not going to get exposed. No, not the kid. But you want the love of your life. You don't even accept all of you. When I come forward, if you think I'm going to take my foot off the gas, you'd be wrong.
More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward. Yo, this is Zoe Williams, the VOR, and I got another incredible.
Andy, I was saying we are here to save the world. That's a song I gave you. You got me. Hey, what was Nick Quarterlight talking about? I said, what was Nick Quarterlight talking about in there? I just looked up, he was pointing at me. Hey, we gonna play them records. Hey, I appreciate everybody hitting the likes. Hey, thank y'all. Listen, because I hear people, and this is not a compliment to me, by the way. Folk be like, man, I had to get a dictionary. Is the concept over your head? I don't believe that it is. If you got to get a dictionary to understand what I'm saying, is that my fault? I'm not one who believes like the whole dumb it down thing. I heard Krishnamurti talk one day, man, it blew my mind. No, somebody was talking about Krishnamurti. What they said was, it was like Krishnamurti was in full alignment with the truth. He said Krishnamurti refused to condescend to where you are. You had to put in the effort to raise your consciousness to meet the truth where it's at. We live in a society that is the inverse of that. So you want to reach more people, you got to dumb it down. No, you don't. You just got to speak the truth authentically. That's the only.
Wrong title.
It's terrible.
Send me the link.
Starts from what I was saying about we don't have the vocabulary to describe abstract things. We don't have the vocabulary, the words, or even the thoughts to describe consciousness. What is it? Where is it? Well, it's nowhere. Doesn't have any extent. There isn't distance there. Well, how does it work? How does it pass information around? You're looking for details that really aren't important. You just have to understand its function and how it works, and let the rest go, because what you're doing is trying to take that abstraction and turn it into something concrete. And that's wrong. This virtual reality is what we see as concrete, and we want it to be like this virtual reality with piece parts that we can assemble and take them apart and lay them out on a bench so we can see how all the details work. But it's not like that at all. We're talking about a thing that's alive and conscious and aware, and it doesn't have an extent. It doesn't have to pass data.
I got it. I had to go on YouTube.
It just knows. everything has to pass data around. Well, only if it has extent.
Hmm.
Extent doesn't have to be there. It's just consciousness. Stop trying to look at all its piece parts and try to understand what it is and how you relate to it and it relates to you. That's what's important. One of the key points that people have to understand as they're trying to wrap their heads around this is that this isn't something that you can just get intellectually. If it's not your experience, it can't be your truth. So you may read about it and you may think, oh, that sounds true and I can see how all that works. But if it's not your truth, if you haven't experienced it, it's somebody else's truth. It's the truth of the guy who wrote the book, but it's not your truth. You have to experience it. And you are limited by your experience. If you get things, if data comes to you and it's outside of your experience, you don't know how to interpret it. Now, you can make up a story about it and say, oh, well, it's like this, but that's just the story you make up. And then you can believe the story. And that's what most people do. They make up stories and then they believe them. But understanding that if it's not your experience, then it's not going to help you grow up.
Hey, man, listen. I've been trying to put y'all on to a lot of giants. That's one right there, Thomas Campbell. Right? And that was a clip with him and Andre Duckham. And it's Thomas Campbell, the author of My Big Toe. And he was trying to describe consciousness. Sounds a lot like how religious folk describe God: immeasurable, infinite, beyond comprehension. Listen, what is the purpose of this damn show? To get you to realize that relationships are far more than what Disney taught us, far more than what you patterned in your childhood. It is an extension of self-realization. And so many people don't want to go there. They want to stay in familiar pain. Wait. Hold on. Familiar pains, yeah. It's not as painful when you know it. It's familiar. It's, oh, I know what this is. Right? People would rather be with familiar pain, right? Familiar toxicity than with unfamiliar healing, with unfamiliar health. They'd rather believe the fairy tale. Zoe is here to deconstruct all of that. We get entertained. We listen to stories about people's failures, about people's hurt. And because it's familiar to us, we resonate with it. I'm not here to resonate with you. I'm here to detonate you. The old you. Right? With the framework we've constructed thus far, could it be safe to say that unhealed wounds perpetuate fragmentation within a holographic conscious field? If that's the case, from the perspective of unhealed wounds, could that lens itself create pocket realities or dimensions that we live in without our knowledge? You've heard of rose-colored glasses? Try wounded-colored glasses, right? This raises the potential of expanding our awareness of unconditional love. So many people say, love ain't real, love ain't enough. That's because you got on wound shades. That's because you prioritize loyalty, because you've been abandoned. I need to be able to trust you. That's because you couldn't trust your mama. I know I'm saying it in a way that is triggering. Yes, I get it. 1-800-920-1580. This is why we don't get to unconditional love. This is why unconditional love sounds impractical. How many times you hear people say, oh, I'm logical. See, when it comes to relationships, you got to be logical. You know, you got to You know, you got to make sure you know who somebody is. And the only way to do that is through time. You got to sit down, you got to study and watch everything they doing because they can switch up on you. See, that's coming from fear. That's coming from pain. Where did that come from initially? Right? The question is, do we live in a wound-based, isolated, and insulated reality which is based on our unhealed selves and ego? Say it again, Zoe, to the people in the back. Do the majority of us, right, live in a wound-based, isolated, and insulated reality based on our unhealed selves / ego? If we pull up the work of Robert Anton Wilson in his book Prometheus Rising, what did he talk about? He framed it. He called it reality tunnels. Is not someone who has PTSD or CPTSD living in a reality tunnel? When Babette Rothschild talks about how the body remembers trauma, right? You were bit by a dog years ago. You see a dog today on the street, it takes you back to the moment you were bit as a child. Your body is in that moment. You see? Unhealed psycho-spiritual wounds as fractures within the holographic field of infinite consciousness. And we think we're going to find somebody that's going to make us safe. The only safety we got comes from our own hands. When we come forward, if you think I'm done, you'd be wrong. Yes, Ross Rossenberg. Thank you, Vanetta. You're our first Cash App. Listen, if this topic is resonating with you, call me, 1-800-920-1580. If you want to put a little piece of change on my Cash App, listen, I would totally appreciate it. That's why we always ask for twos and fews. That's really what we ask for, twos and fews. We don't want you to, oh, here's $100, here's $200. We're not asking you to do that. Twos and fews, my friends. Twos and fews. If you got it, share it with us.
We know that information is power, especially when it comes to prevention and treatment. That's why we're proud to introduce the brand new KBLA Health and Wellness Hub. This online space is built just for you, connecting our community to trusted health resources, culturally innovative care, and even access to diverse clinical trials and emerging therapies. Whether you're looking for information on common conditions, mental health support, or just want to stay on top of your wellness journey,
I forgot to give you guys an update. Sarah went back into the hospital and then came back out. So she's back out now.
and click on the Health and Wellness Hub icon because knowledge is power and your health is everything. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. Your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom terms? Fantasies and fetishes. Infidelity. I'm dating a bad person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy.
How about this? The child wasn't here, and he's or I had to play child support?
It's a very heated topic.
Oh, is that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I was like, is there something wrong with that?
He told me he'd had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed. Hit you with a bad pipes routine. How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my lips.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man moves on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
So Williams.
Reason and accountability.
The voice of reason.
One observes that there must be unity of mankind. Because that's the only way we will survive physically, biologically. Not divisions. The Europeans, the Americans, the Russians, the Hindus and so on, not divisions, the complete, total unity of mankind. And politics and politicians are not going to solve that problem, ever. On the contrary, they will maintain the division. It's very profitable. So, as that is an important and essential necessity of existence, that there must be unity of all mankind, and that cannot be brought about through legislation, through bureaucratic dogmas or rules and all the rest of it. So when you observe all this as a human being living in chaos, in a world that is almost gone mad, the armaments, the selling of them for profit, killing people in the name of ideas and countries, for God, and all the rest of it. Observing, seeing all this all over the world. What is a human being to do? And what for? So I think it becomes very important to find out, to discover for oneself, if one is at all serious, and if one must be serious in life, otherwise one does not really live at all. It's only the very, very serious man, which doesn't mean he has no laughter, no smile, but that seriousness which demands a total commitment to the whole issue of life.
Now stop right there. A total commitment to the whole issue of life. Listen, with the advent of technology, yes, it has made our lives very convenient. Yeah, but there are costs for that convenience. Right? Before the iPhone, before cell phones exploded, we all remembered phone numbers. We had phone numbers in our mind, that part of our brain. What is it doing today? Right? Well, what is that part of your brain doing today? Right? You see, we live in a time of massive connectivity. Yet at the same time, and paradoxically, we are more insulated and isolated from each other than ever before. This digital narcissism becomes normal for how we interact with people. That isolation and insulation has led to ghosting, has led to people not wanting to build relationships anymore. We just want to pass through relationships. I'm passing through. Do you see? You don't understand the work of source, the work of God. God created relationships so you could deal with yourself. How else could you see you? How else could you see what you need to work on? KBLA is not playing now. The voice of reason, this is progression right here. I'm telling you, 5 to 10 years from now, psychology is going to become more spiritual. It's going to go back to its original roots. Right? They're already integrating these concepts. Mindfulness, right? They're already integrating some of these concepts. This is what relationship is for. If consciousness is a unified holographic field, right? A field where every point containing the informational pattern of the whole, then trauma introduces local interference in the field. What did Einstein say about the field? Around every particle, there's a field. And he says that every particle is dictated to by the field around it. Do you see? Your life is dictated by the field of trauma in many cases. Do you see? Trauma introduces itself, right, as a local interference pattern in the field. An unhealed wound functions like a phase distortion. The same light still shines through, but its wavefront bends. Clinically, we see this as cognitive bias, disassociation, or defensive looping. Metaphysically, it manifests as partial perception of reality. It is obfuscated by the wound. So guess what? Everybody got to show up the way your wound demands. Zoe's here to challenge you on that. The relationship is the university. The person continues to broadcast and receive information, but only through the fragments of frequency, right? The mind then makes mistakes that filtered perception for the entire landscape of existence. The smaller your reality, the more convinced you are that you know everything. That's Thomas Campbell, My Big Toe, right? You should get that book. Let's go even deeper into this holographic principle. Tiny positive or negative increments in the quality of your intent over many thousands of choices eventually lead to either an increasing or decreasing of consciousness quality. Thomas Campbell, My Big Toe. We're living in wounded pocket realities, looking for people to match that. This is why the majority of our relationships are mere reenactments. Pocket realities and wound-based dimensions. From this standpoint, each unintegrated complex becomes a micro-hologram, a self-contained pocket reality. This is how I see the world. And guess how we've manifested that? We've manifested that into, this is my truth. No one's gonna besmirch or marginalize or minimize my truth. No, I'm a mirror of the fact that your truth isn't truth. It is a wound-based reality that warps and distorts what is actually real. Krishnamurti called it the what is. Nah, your reality is warped by the what was. Right? Trauma is a time machine that only travels to the past. It's a one-way travel back to the past. What happened? And then it manifests itself in the now as it ain't gonna happen again. Do you see? Every fragment of the hologram still projects the full image. This is a fact. These pockets feel complete, self-validating. In daily life, they appear as repetitive relationship patterns, confirmation bias, or identity fortresses, right? I always attract the same kind of people. The world is unsafe. Neurobiologically speaking, these realities are sustained by the limbic system's predictive coding. The brain keeps replaying familiar patterns to maintain coherence. You're calling it love. You're calling it connection. I found my boo, my bae. If you're comfortable, you're not growing. If you're always in a state of peace, you're not being challenged. You're not expanding. You're ignoring source in you. Because source in you is discovering itself in others, even if it hurts. Right? Either way, it's going to hurt. You stay in your familiar pain, or you expand and you stretch to the point where it hurts, but you're growing. Do you see? Again, the brain keeps replaying familiar patterns to maintain coherence, even if the coherence is painful. Spiritually, they resemble dimensional partitions, private universes orbiting inside the greater field of love, insulated by fear and misinterpretation. The ego is the architect of this isolation. This ain't, listen, no disrespect to the all the other relationship dudes out there talking. No disrespect to none of them. I love them all. I appreciate them all. Keep doing the work, brothers and sisters. But this is different. Everybody want to be, it sound good if I hear it from a woman. Might sound better if Zoe was a woman, because then it would come across a little different. No, I'm on purpose. And this is not supposed to feel good. Do you understand? Healing is not a trip to the day spa. Everybody want their relationship to be at We Spa downtown. Downtown Los Angeles. Let's go to We Spa. Koreatown. Go on over there, get rubbed on, lay on some hot rocks. Every relationship ain't like, it's not supposed to be like that. Oh, I had good parents. Well, I got to go through something. Maybe you got some generational debt to deal with. Wow, man, that's make-believe stuff. Okay, don't believe me. Go to the clinician, Marielle Bouquet. She from the islands, educated at Columbia. Go get her book about the transference of intergenerational trauma. Maybe you got the right parents this time, but you still got the old wounds from last time. And that's why you're getting a mirror reflecting this work back to you. You thought because you was raised in a two-parent household that everything was perfect. Nah, the work must happen. We got a caller on the line. Let's get him in here. John from Mountain View, Hawaii, man. What are your thoughts on tonight's discussion, my friend?
I thought the system already made this song, Don't Disturb This Group.
Ooh. Don't disturb this groove. Come on.
I mean, granted, yes, I get it. Our lives are in the past. Everything that we have in our memory that we use as words is something of our experience. But I recall being a grown man with gray hair. Not a baby going through teething. and even the child itself had enough capacity, one, because we couldn't speak its language, to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
And it went through fever, and it went through suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And it became what it became, as we all know, as grown people.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, you cannot forget your past, but your past is supposed to be your capacity for your future. How tough are you now?
Ooh. Come on, I'm listening. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if it wasn't for the simplicity of life, you wouldn't know the complication.
Come on, as above,
So let's go back to the thing that we know the most. Again, you don't save money unless you leave it alone, but you feel poor while doing so.
Come on. Saving is the inverse of consumption. Keep going, I'm listening.
If you're trying to remember something as simple as a number of someone that you love, let that person be in hell, and I guarantee you remember the number.
Ooh, you're going to remember that number. 626-797-1474. I got to call him. Come on.
But nonetheless, again, I recall even speaking to my own mother over simplicities of, and I know I've heard it many a times in this show, you talk about what you're going to do with your family member who's sitting before you. Yeah, y'all can go eat, y'all can go see this, y'all can go see that. But what about just me?
Man, I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. I appreciate you calling in, man. Guess what you just did?
Mountain Views in the house. Blessings to all.
We love you, John. Thank you.
Love y'all more, but if the Senate don't do something about themselves, I'm gonna go get them.
Yes, sir. All the way from Hawaii. We appreciate the call. When we come forward, we going back to the phone lines. I knew this was going to be a heavy topic. God damn it. Where Cali Soul at? Somebody tell Cali Soul to get in here. Now, because Sean is on the line. Sits in the kitchen making more gumbo as we speak. Yeah, where Auntie Callie? She got to come through. Gandalf. Dumbledore needs your assistant. She called me Gandalf. Oh, they called me Gandalf the Grey. I remember. I am Gandalf the White. Man, I was watching that shit the other day, man. I love Lord of the Rings. Is you crazy? Never trust an elf. Tell me your name, Horsemaster. and I shall tell you mine. A wizard is never late. He arrives precisely when he means to. Gandalf! Gandalf! I was delayed. Oh, yeah, man. I love that shit. You heard a personification of the magician and the Hierophant card combined. Well, Gemini is the magician, the Hierophant is Taurus. A wizard is never late. He arrives precisely when he means to. Who is that, Andy? No, they say they say the lovers and the magician. I think. Yeah, the lovers is Gemini. Yeah, don't listen to me. You're the professional. I'm just claiming cards. I'm all the cards. Fuck it. What up, Lorenzo?
What if life itself was never the beginning or the end, but the space in between? In the Tibetan tradition, this space is called the bardo, a state of transition where reality and illusion meet. We think the bardo comes after death, but the truth is we've been walking through it since birth. Every inhale and exhale, every change and loss, every decision and awakening is another threshold. Life is the training ground for death, and death is the mirror of how we lived. The goal isn't to survive what comes after, it's to awaken while we're here. The Bardo Thodol, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, was never meant for the dead. Its real title means liberation through hearing in the intermediate state. Padmasambhava, the lotus-born master, wrote it to be read to the living so that consciousness could recognize itself inside the dream. What the world mistook for funeral text was a guide for awakening. Every moment of confusion, every burst of clarity, every fall into illusion is part of the same map. The living who understand it stop dying 1,000 small deaths each day.
Like a video off.
Tibetans taught that when you die, visions of deities, peaceful and wrathful arise from your mind. But if those deities are projections, then so is everything you see right now. The people who anger you, the ones who heal you, the fears that haunt you, all reflections of the same inner field. The wrathful gods are your rage, the peaceful ones, your compassion. Recognize them as yourself and you're free. Every relationship, every challenge, every sunrise is a lucid dream lesson. Waking life is the bardo in disguise. We're taught that the afterlife is uncertain and this world is solid. Yet the sages discovered the opposite. What we call real life is a rehearsal, a fickle dream of impermanence. In meditation, monks dissolve the body, watch time vanish, and find only awareness remaining. Death is not an ending, but a continuation of the same illusion. Forgetfulness is the true death. Every morning we wake up and forget who we are. Every night we die into dreams and forget where we've been. The path is remembering. There are 6 bardos mapping every level of consciousness. The bardo of life dream meditation, dying, dharmata, and becoming. They're not sequential, they're simultaneous. Right now, you stand in the bardo of life, but in sleep, you enter dream. In meditation, dharmata. In transformation, becoming. You travel these realms each day without noticing. The masters realized that every breath is a portal, every heartbeat a rebirth. To awaken in one bardo is to illuminate them all. Every mystic echoes the same truth. Die before you die, and you'll never die again. To die before death means to release the illusion of I. The ego fears death because it believes it ends. Awareness knows it only changes form.
It's on fire tonight. It's the voice of reason.
Wow. Come on. Yo. Sheesh.
Restaurants of Jamaica, which operates KFC and Pizza Hut, is donating $18 million to Hurricane Melissa relief efforts. The funds will go to the government's relief fund, including for the poor Jamaica, and directly support homes,
None. Not none. Not now. Jeez. I can't even lie. This right here. Is this one of the? This is one of them ones. I'm not in doubt. This is one of them ones. This show right here is one of them ones. Listen, if you want to support your brother, please go to my Cash App. If you found any value, any meaning in this show, go to my Cash App. Drop $2 or $3. Twos and fews. It's 30 people in here. Drop $2 or $3 in the Cash App, cause man, oh man, it's Shevitz. This is the one. This one of them ones, I should say. Because every time I say this the one, y'all be like, this ain't the one. You got so many bangers. But this is special. I think so. Yes, moderators, please encourage our folk to show a little love if they got a little something out of this topic.
That's LAvote.gov, your trusted source for voting in LA County. Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services. But how more than the Saquon market, the NFL's reigning rusher. I'm also the NFL's leading rusher. Hush up back there. Wow, I might have just said the hushing market. Well, almost. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side. Nationwide Investment Services Corporation and
What did the weirdos say? Oh, y'all caught somebody slipping. They said play the banjo. He wanted you to play that White Sinners music. I know, but them vampires had one song that was banging, and it wasn't that Pick Poor Robin Clean record. I hated that song, but it was another one. The one that they was singing when old girl first walked outside and they was just sitting there. That one song, I was like, okay. They all had a part. Hey man, we did a good job, a really great job on the likes. Each one, reach one. The T-Ski Brothers, Rain is a song worth listening to. Ooh, hey, that sounds cool. Hey, send me that, John. I want to hear that. Rain is a song worth listening to? I want to hear that.
thought. There are these unnumbered states of consciousness. You can't number them. You can liken each state to an egg. And every state remains just like the egg until fertilized. And the presence that fertilizes the egg is simply our consciousness. We must be in it to activate it, to animate it. You could this very moment single out any state, and by the use of your imagination, imagine that you're in it. You'll be in it. Think this very moment of your living room, or any room in your house. Take an object, a familiar object in your room, and bring it as close as you can. If it's really here, well then you can't be here in this room. As you become intense about it, concentrated on it, you are really where you are imagining yourself to be. For man being all imagination, he must be where he is in imagination. But what have I done then? I've fertilized it. I've actually made it real. And in a way that I do not know, I am going to go there. But though you will say, naturally, I'm going to go there today. It's my home. I use that only to illustrate a point. You could take any place, no matter where it is, any part of the world. If you did the same thing to it that you would now do to your home, you will find yourself compelled to move across a bridge of incident leading up to the fulfillment of that state. You don't devise the means, but there's so many little facets to this wonderful art of imagining. I'll tell you one to show you the danger. When one wants one thing about all things in this world, and they're willing to sacrifice their moral, ethical codes, in fact, every code. It also works. That's why I warned you in my last book, I can only acquaint you with the law and leave you to your choice and its risk. And I mean risk.
Very interesting stuff. That was Neville Goddard. Neville Goddard. Very, very good stuff. This topic is deep, and I know it is. I know it's layered and nuanced. But they're designed to be that way. EMDR. It's a form of therapy that gets you to go back. It's a technology that allows you to remember. But you remember Big Mama used to say, there's nothing new under the sun? There was a meditation practice many years ago that was created by a man by the name of Gurdjieff. Gurdjieff created a practice known as self-remembering. And it achieved some of the same things that EMDR achieves today. If you have time, you should look it up by Gurdjieff. Right? And if you need, I guess, help spelling Gurdjieff, it is not just an easy name. Like Gurdjieff. Gurdjieff. And of course, that's the last name. But I don't want to give you all of the information. I want you to go on on this discovery to find out the information. But Gurdjieff, he talked at length, right? And developed an entire practice called self-remembering. Why is it important? Man, do we even know why we're self-evasive? Listen to how I frame that. Self-evasive. And what kind of havoc that might wreak upon our intimate relationships. Very important stuff. Let me get Sean in here too. Sean from Oakland, California. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic, my friend?
Well, brother, I mean, regarding the topic, it's very broad in my mind. I'll tell you what,
young folks, because I'm older, they talk about the vibe.
The
They talk
vibe.
about the vibe. And I'll tell you what, man, it's really important that we respect that as older guys. Well, at least I'm an older guy. I know you're like 20.
No,
I'm joking, man.
yeah, okay.
I know. I'm making jokes. But I'm saying, man, the vibe of the moment, you have to appreciate what these kids are doing. You have to appreciate it because you may not understand it, right, as an older guy, but the vibe really does matter. It matters. And you should embrace it. And when you don't agree with it, tell them, and they appreciate that. They appreciate when you say, you know, I don't like what this area of your vibe is going. But it's all about communication, right? But I like the fact that young kids are going this direction because the vibe matters. Because if you have a negative vibe in your house, if you're married or in a relationship or anything like that, it matters. It does matter. And so if you understand that the vibe, I'm saying it so many times because it matters, you know, you might be able to resuscitate your relationship. You might be able to keep your relationship together. And that's key, you know, that we keep these relationships solid and that we're working towards a team and we're working towards, you know, the ultimate goal, which is the team.
Man, let me just say this. I approve of your message, my friend Sean from Oakland, California. Guess what you just did, brother man?
Oakland in the house, but also the world.
Yes, we appreciate town business in the building. When we come forward, Zoe Williams is going to begin to land this plane.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward. And I know you're tired of pretty gyms with pretty lies, where people seem to scroll more than they sweat. Well, it's time to level up. Welcome to Huff and Puff, where excuses die and champions rise. Smack dab at 1221 North La Brea on the corner of Fairview. This ain't a photo shoot, it's a battleground. Certified achievers in the game. Trainers who grind with you, not post pictures beside you. Whether you're chasing your next personal record or just trying to out...
No, that's real though. That's real. Rob be in the gym. This commercial is epic. It really is. It really is. Andy, man, you eating good. I said, you eating good. You got pomegranate juice in there?
What you say?
I said, you eating good. You got pomegranate juice in there?
Pomegranate/cherry.
Pomegranate cherry juice? Boy.
All I had was salad and some pomegranate.
Hey, boy, that's that shit they serve at the Palace in Coming to America, nigga. Boy, I love it. Pomegranate cherry juice. I gotta get back over to Whole Foods. Oh, they got pomegranate blueberry. How he get pomegranate at this time of night? Come on, it's Los Angeles. We can get anything. We can get anything at any time. And besides, it's only 8:47. It ain't even late. I think like the grocery stores may close like from like 1. Most of them close, but there are some that are open 24 hours. But most of them close from like 1 to 6 in the morning, because between, in that 5-hour period, they're restocking the stores. But there are still some 24-hour grocery stores that are open. But typically, if you can get in there by 12, 12:40, 12:30, you good.
Powerful thing you need is that capacity to let go, because you're going to run into tests that are really quite powerful, stronger than what you think. Because as you move ahead, that which is really uncomfortable or disgraced begins to get annoyed that you're moving out of that domain and threatening their domain. When you start getting the challenges, I'm not going to allow myself to fall into the pit of being so linked to something that if it leaves, I will then go into grief. Compassion. Lovingness now takes the form of an attitude towards yourself and your own life and those around you. You're trying to
Wait, pause. We got to bring that back. Lovingness is now takes on the attitude of loving yourself and those. That's Dr. David R. Hawkins, the author of Power versus Force, among many other books. But I need you to really lock in to what he's saying. Run it again, Andy.
The most powerful thing you need is that capacity to let go, because you're going to run into tests that are really quite powerful, stronger than what you think. Because as you move ahead, that which is really uncomfortable or disgraced begins to get annoyed that you're moving out of that domain and threatening their domain. When you start getting the challenges, I'm not going to allow myself to fall into the pit of being so linked to something that if it leaves, I will then go into grief. Compassion. Lovingness now takes the form of an attitude towards yourself and your own life and those around you. It finally reaches the point where it's willing to let anything go that stands in the way. We may think it's the small things that we're letting go of. We say, well, I let go of my favorite sneakers, and it seems trivial. Oh no, the capacity that's from your sneakers is going to be one of the last things right before enlightenment.
Dr. David R. Hawkins, incredible author, great work. Listen, I know this topic tonight was dense, but it's important. They're all important. Many of us have the wrong idea about what it means to connect. Right? First off, we don't need to connect. We're all connected. Right? We don't need to connect. We just need to remember that we are all connected. And then secondarily, there's work to be done so we can clear away the obstruction to clear sight. The past has had all of us in a chokehold for too long. Listen to what we're saying here tonight. The ego's prime directive is continuity, not the truth. It stabilizes identity by confining awareness within these wound-based dimensions. right? Each defensive narrative. I must control to stay safe. I'm somebody that got to be in control, right? This becomes the gravity well of a personal universe. Listen to that. I must control everything in order to stay safe. I am unworthy of love. These terms become gravity wells. If you know anything about the mechanics of a black hole, you'll understand what a gravity well is. But they become gravity wells of a personal universe. To step beyond it feels like alienation. Alienation of what? The ego. If you're studying any of the ancient spiritual practices, self-realization is the annihilation of the ego. The ego is about the continuity of self. And if the ego, the identity, was built off of toxicity, brokenness, right? It's not going to want to let go of the familiar pain. You see? Like I said, to step beyond it feels like alienation because the ego equates dissolution of its boundary with death. Yet from the holographic perspective that we've covered all night, that death is merely decoherence, collapse of a local illusion back into the unified field. EMDR and the remerging of dimensions, right? The therapeutic process, right? Processes like EMDR work precisely by resynchronizing these pocket realities with the master frequency of the field. Bilateral stimulation induces hemispheric coherence, dissolving the energetic wall that keeps traumatic material in isolation. Right? As the oscillations restore rhythm, memory, emotion, and body sensation regenerate, the local hologram rephases with the universal image. What is the universal image? Christ said it, I and my Father are one. Christ said it, let all your eyes become one. Right? That's what they're talking about, the universal image. We are so caught up on who we think we are and who our wounds have made us believe we are, that relationships become unnecessarily problematic, right? What appears clinically as trauma resolution is, in holographic language, dimensional realignment, the return of a lost photon to the lattice of unconditional awareness. Tonight's topic was deep, and it's supposed to be deep. But we're here to expand love's bandwidth. When the wound's distortion clears, perception widens. The nervous system stops filtering for danger and begins resonating with possibility. Right? Anthropologically speaking, this expansion resembles what initiation rites once achieved. The individual's reintegration into the tribe of the cosmos. Love, once constrained to the scale of personal need. Listen, love, once constrained to the scale of personal need, now functions as a field property, a spontaneous recognition of sameness within illusory difference. In this state, unconditional no longer describes an emotion, but a perceptual bandwidth in which everything is seen as belonging to the same light. Do you know why it's so easy to hurt each other? Right? Because we don't feel the pain we inflict in that moment. We feel separate from them. And it only takes reflection for it to, and then you go, oh, wow, I did hurt them. Do you see? Most human beings, right, inhibit wound-based, self-reinforcing pocket realities. Psychological micro dimensions generated by unintegrated trauma and maintained by egoic inertia. Within those pockets, awareness contracts and love appears scarce or conditional. Healing, whether through EMDR, mindfulness, somatic integration, or deep relational presence, is the act of rephasing those localized holograms with the total field. Each moment of integration collapses a false dimension back into the whole, increasing the system's overall coherence. You ain't got to believe a word I said tonight. You ain't got to believe it. My job is to start the conversation. It's your job to finish it. I bet we all have a different view of relationship tonight, and that's the purpose of the Voice of Reason. When I come forward, it'll be tomorrow, and I'll have an entirely new slapper to hit you upside the dome with. Let's get it! Precious tomorrow. Love y'all. Deuces.